Hey y'all, Coach Timmons here. And yeah, I was a guy last year getting all the flack about HBCUs don't need to be in the playoffs. But this year, I'm ready for more flack. Don't give me a like, share, and subscribe. It helps the algorithm. I want to have this be a discussion among all YouTubers. I know some people, they gonna say it's stupid, but not try to give a response back to it. Let's get this started. I'm gonna say the best for last. But first, I know there's people on my channel who are UAB alums, UAB grads. I get that. I respect that. I think all colleges are great. Education is key. Comes to football, Alabama A&M is going to make the playoffs. And here's why I say that. Their schedule puts them in a situation like no other. Alabama A&M, the first 3 weeks of the season, played at UAB, at Troy, and home for Austin Peay. Mr. Maynard, don't call him Mr. Maynard, has been a mad scientist over here. He's been in the lab fuming after the whole Jackson State and FAMU debacle. You remember how Coach Saturday was all focused on Alabama A&M? People, this man's focused on those two teams. And also he sees the future. UAB, Troy, and Austin Peay, two of those teams are going to fall to Alabama A&M. Austin Peay will be in the top echelon of the OVC. Troy is an FBS school. UAB, we're not going there. But then they come back and play FAMU at Tallahassee. Home, Bethune-Cookman. Home against Grambling. Pine Bluff. They basically own Alabama when it comes to Magic City Classic. Play Valley on the road, which can be a trap game. And then the next game is against Jackson State in Mobile. I personally think they'll slip up on Valley and Jackson State. The question is, does a team that has 8 wins on 3 losses, 2 wins, one against an FBS school, and one against a top in their conference, Austin Peay, get them into the playoffs? If it does not get them into the playoffs, I don't want to hear shit else about we need to schedule harder. Because their schedule is what every pundit or YouTuber has cried about. This is what we got to do. We got to do out of conference schedules. If they win them, now what? Because remember last year, they beat NC State in the spring and in the fall. They finished with 3 losses. They did not get into the playoffs. This year, they're up to ante. If this doesn't get them to the playoffs, then nothing will. My second team, who I actually think is the second best team in all of HBCU land. Hands down. I don't care what anybody says. I'll take all the heat. Bring it on. I want the smoke. The second best team in all of HBCU is Tennessee State. This is their chance to prove it. Once again, this is the schedule that every single person has cried and moaned and complained about. So what do? They go to Eastern Washington. I'll be honest with you. I am not impressed with Eastern Washington. I know there's some pundits on here who love Eastern Washington. And they're wide open offense. I'm not impressed with them. Because I don't see the power. I'm more of a That's why I kind of respect NC State. Cause I like the smash mouth, beat you up kind of teams. That's just me. If they sneak out Eastern Washington, they come back and play Jackson State. Well, I think it's the top two on paper teams in HBCU football. I'm not saying they'll win that game. In fact, I'm saying they'll lose that game. Middle Tennessee State, their secondary is questionable because their best safety now plays in Jackson. If Eddie George has his team to the level that Jackson State had their team last year, as far as talent-wise and scheme-wise and continuity in their second year, that could be a ULM type game, which means a very close loss, or if they sneak it out, good. If they get into the meat of their schedule, 1 and 2, they got a problem. Because Lane College is an automatic win. Lane has a great quarterback, but no one's picking Lane College to win that game. Bethune-Cookman, great defense. We're not sold on Jalen Jones yet. Tennessee Tech, yeah. Murray State. Murray State has a great team, but once again, the size. And I've seen the people that Tennessee State has recruited. It's more of a prove to me. Remember the kid from Ohio State that cussed out the team? He's there now, linebacker. Show me what you got. SC Missouri. Now, Southeast Missouri State is going to be that fight. That's the fight on that schedule. UT Martin, Texas A&M Commerce. Bro, come on. I might be at that game. But if they get through the first 3 games, 1 and 2, find 1 win in those 3 games. I don't see them losing more than 1 game the rest of the way. And with that being said, they're going to win their conference. Automatic bid into the playoffs. Now, before I get out of here, big dog on the block here, South Carolina State University. Looking at their schedule, I see them. Well, they're going to lose to UCF. We know that. But they're going to stay in Florida. They're going to beat Bethune-Cookman. I see them pulling off the major upset of A&T, who will be close to winning the Big South. Yeah, South Carolina, yeah, they ain't going to happen. They may not beat FAMU. Actually, they have to beat FAMU after what happened last year. Which is why FAMU's not on my list. And then with Lynchburg, Central, Morgan, Delaware State, Howard. The only reason why I have them on this list is because of Norfolk State. Looking at their schedule, NC State, Morgan State, Delaware State, Howard, who strikes fear in your heart? None of them. Norfolk State is going to be the only team in the MEAC to beat them. And with them having wins over Bethune-Cookman, A&T being the big one, FAMU, what else do they need to do? Once again, this is one of those schedules that the pundits are telling them, you have to schedule outside your conference, you have to schedule other teams, good teams. Okay, prove it. If they come out, beat Bethune-Cookman, beat A&T, beat FAMU, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 wins upon losses to Norfolk State, UCF, and South Carolina. And they don't get in the playoffs, it's over. Coach Simmons,